Welcome all. Myself, Dr. Renu Loshali, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Chemistry from Shri Ram Singh Dhoni Government Degree College, Jaiti, Almora, Uttarakhand. Today we will discuss subject chemistry of BSc first year or second semester of paper third, that is physical chemistry. Chapter Chemical Kinetics and Catalysis. In this, we will study about topic catalysis in detail. First of all, we will start with table of contents. Here, we will study about catalyst, then about characteristics of catalyzed reactions, then types of catalyst, then the topic catalysis, followed with types of catalysis. Here types of catalysis includes its two types. One is homogeneous catalysis and another is heterogeneous catalysis. Next we will move to terminologies used in catalysis, and finally we conclude with applications of catalysis. So let us start with first topic, that is catalyst. See catalyst. Catalyst. Now the question arises, what are catalysts? So catalysts are those substances which can change the rate of reaction. Or in simple language we can say that catalysts are those substances which can change or alter the speed of reaction. It may either increase the speed of reaction or may decrease the speed of reaction. How these catalysts change the rate of reaction? By changing the path of reaction. So in single line, how we can define catalyst? Catalysts are those substances which can change the rate of reaction by changing the path of reaction. Now generally what happens, what the catalyst do? The catalyst generally lowers the activation energy. Here question arises, what is activation energy? Activation energy is a minimum energy which the reactant molecule must possess in order to form products. So what is the function of catalyst? Catalyst simply lowers the activation energy. As we know, there is energy gap between reactants and products, and when reactants form products, reactant have to pass through this energy barrier which is in a form of activation energy and form products. Clear? Then catalyst may be solids, may be liquid or gases. If we talk about solid catalyst, it includes metals, their oxides, their halides or sulfides. If catalysts are in a form of liquid, generally these are mineral acids like dilute HCl, dilute H2SO4, like this. And if catalysts are in a form of gas, it is nitric oxide. For example, nitric oxide. Now catalyzed reactions. What are catalyzed reactions? Catalyzed reactions are those reactions which takes place in presence of catalyst. So any reaction in which we use catalyst are known as catalyzed reaction. Moving to next slide is characteristics of catalyzed reactions. In this we will discuss what are the characteristics of catalyzed reactions, or what are the characteristics of those reactions which takes place in presence of catalyst. Now first characteristic is catalyst remains unchanged in mass and chemical composition at the end of reaction. It means at the end of reaction, catalyst will remain unchanged in mass and chemical composition, though there may be a change in physical state. It means that granular form can be converted into powder form, but there is no change in the mass or we can say amount and chemical composition of the catalyst. Next characteristic is generally. Word highlight on this term generally. Generally, a catalyst is used in a small amount in order to produce unlimited reactions. Means by using a very small amount of catalyst, we can produce a large amount of reactions. For example, let us consider the decomposition of hydrogen peroxide, that is O2, H2O2. Clear? Hydrogen peroxide is H2O2. So when H2O2 undergo decomposition, here the catalyst used is platinum, and in this reaction when H2O2 undergoes decomposition using catalyst platinum, the amount of platinum is 1/10 millionth of the mass of H2O2. See how much small quantity of catalyst is required for conducting the decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. Clear? Now, however, though very small amount of catalyst is required, but still there are certain reactions where the amount of catalyst required is more. Like in Friedel-Crafts reaction, the catalyst used is anhydrous AlCl3. Here, the amount of AlCl3 used in Friedel-Crafts reaction is 30% of the mass of benzene, that is reactant. Clear? So we can say that the catalyst in many of the reaction is used in small amount, but there are few reactions in which catalyst is used in large amount. For example, Friedel-Crafts reaction. Moving to next characteristics, that is catalysts do not initiate a reaction. Generally, highlight on the term generally. Again generally, it means mainly what happens, catalysts do not initiate a reaction or catalysts do not start a reaction. What is the function of catalyst? Catalyst simply speeds up the reaction which are in progress. How it speeds up? It speeds up by lowering the activation energy. Still, there are certain reactions which are initiated by catalyst. See, for example, reaction between hydrogen and oxygen do not occur at room temperature. Clear? From this reaction it is clear that reaction between hydrogen and oxygen do not occur at room temperature, but if this reaction occurs in presence of catalyst platinum black, there is formation of product. It means there are certain reactions which are initiated by catalyst. So in one sentence we can say that though catalysts do not initiate a reaction, but there are still certain reactions which are initiated in presence of catalyst. Next characteristic is catalyst is specific in its action. It means a particular catalyst has a particular function. For example, catalyst MnO2 catalyze the decomposition of KClO3 but not KClO4. Understood? It means that MnO2 can only act as a catalyst in the decomposition of KClO3 but not KClO4. It means MnO2 is specific in its action. Similarly, there is an enzyme zymase which can convert glucose into ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide, and other enzymes will not convert glucose into ethyl alcohol and carbon dioxide like invertase, diastase, maltase. Clear? Only zymase will convert. It means that catalysts are specific in its action. Next characteristic is a catalyst is more effective when finely divided. It means catalysts work more readily when it is present in finely divided form or powder form, because in powder form or finely divided form we have more surface area. Due to more surface area, what happens? More surface of reactant will be available. More surface will be available for the reactant to come at the surface of catalyst. For example, finely divided nickel show more catalytic activity than the lump of nickel. Clear? Here lump do not possess more surface area, and here finely divided nickel possess more surface area. So finally we say that catalysts are more effective when these are present in finely divided form than in comparison to granular form or a lump form. Next characteristic is generally we say the presence of catalysts do not change the nature of products. Means nature of product is not changed by using catalyst. For example, SO2 plus O2 to form SO3 in presence of platinum or vanadium oxide. It means oxidation of sulfur dioxide can be carried out in the presence of catalyst platinum or in the presence of catalyst vanadium oxide, but in both the case the product form is sulfur trioxide. Understood? It means whether we use platinum or we use vanadium oxide, the product form will be SO3 only. But however, there are certain reactions in which the presence of catalyst changes the nature of product. For example, here see the reaction between carbon monoxide and hydrogen. If carbon monoxide reacts with hydrogen in presence of nickel, the product formed are methane and water. If again by using different catalyst, that is copper, carbon monoxide and hydrogen react to form formaldehyde. Again carbon monoxide react with hydrogen in presence of catalyst ZnO plus Cr2O3, we obtain product methanol. So here we are seeing that by using three different catalysts we are finding three different products. So we say that mainly catalysts do not change the nature of product, but still there are certain reactions in which catalysts change the nature of product, as explained by this example. Next characteristic is catalysts do not alter the final position of equilibrium, though it decreases the time required to establish it. It means catalyst will not change the position of equilibrium, but what the catalyst do? The catalyst simply shortens the time that is required to establish the equilibrium. Now let us clear it with this graph. Here in this graph, on x-axis time is given, on y-axis reaction rate is given. So the equilibrium reaction that is considered is A plus B equilibrium C plus D. Now there are two curves. One is this one, this with blue ink, and another is this curve which is given by red ink, written over here with catalyst, and with blue ink written without catalyst. So initially what happened, the concentration of A and B is maximum, and with time their concentration goes on decreasing until the equilibrium is reached. Similarly, in the beginning concentration of C and D is minimum, and with time its concentration goes on increasing till equilibrium is reached. So equilibrium position is this one. This one is the equilibrium position. So what happens? See, from this graph it is clear that this blue line is for those reactions which do not take place in presence of catalyst. For this the time is this. This is the time for those reactions which do not take place in presence of catalyst. But for those reactions which takes place in presence of catalyst marked with this red line, for this reaction the time is this one. So from graph it is clear that the time required for establishment of equilibrium in case of catalyzed reactions is small in comparison to time required to attain the equilibrium in case of reactions where catalyst is not used. So we say that catalyst only do not alter the final position of equilibrium. It simply decreases the time. Understood? Next slide is types of catalyst. We have discussed about catalyst, about characteristics of catalyzed reaction. Then now we have to discuss about types of catalyst. There are two types of catalyst, positive catalyst and negative catalyst. Positive catalyst, as the name indicates, these catalysts increases the rate of reaction. See, just now I have told that catalysts are those substances which alter or which change the rate of reaction. So they may either increase or decrease. Generally they increases the rate of reaction, but there are certain reactions in which they decrease the reaction. So positive catalysts are those catalysts which increases the rate of reaction, and negative catalysts are those catalysts which decreases the rate of reaction. Next, positive catalyst, how they increase the rate of reaction? By lowering the activation energy. By lowering the activation energy, what happens? More reactant molecule will cross the energy barrier and form product, thereby product yield increases. Negative catalyst, what they do? They decreases the rate of reaction. It means they increases or raise the activation energy of the reactant to cross the energy barrier and thereby resulting in low yield of product. Understood? Next example of positive catalyst is iron. Iron is used as catalyst in the preparation of ammonia by Haber's process. Here iron is positive catalyst. It means when iron is added in Haber's process, this iron increases the rate of reaction. Similarly, platinum is also a positive catalyst in the preparation of sulfuric acid by contact process. Now moving towards example of negative catalysis. Acetanilide is an example of negative catalysis which decreases the rate of reaction of decomposition of hydrogen peroxide, and alcohol is a negative catalyst in oxidation of chloroform. It means oxidation of chloroform is retarded by, or the speed of oxidation of chloroform reaction is decreased by alcohol. This is the types of catalyst. Moving to next slide. This topic is catalysis. Catalysis, what is catalysis? Catalysis is the term which was first used by Berzelius in 1836. When catalyst increases the rate of reaction. Now here we have to take the positive catalyst. We are not talking about negative catalyst. We have to talk only about positive catalyst. So when catalyst increases the rate of reaction, we know positive catalyst increases the rate of reaction. The phenomena is known as catalysis. So this phenomena of increasing the rate of reaction by catalyst is known as catalysis. Substances which lowers the activation energy for conversion of reactants into products are catalyst, and process of lowering the activation energy is known as catalysis. Clear? Now let us see this graph. On y-axis there is energy which is increasing from downward to upward. On x-axis there is reaction coordinate. Reaction coordinate means reaction progress, means reactants are converted into products. Here there are two curves, one indicated with red pen, another with blue pen. So this blue pen curve is for those reactions which do not take place in presence of catalyst, means uncatalyzed reactions. This red pen indicates curve for those reactions which takes place in presence of catalyst. We have written with catalyst and without catalyst. Understood? Now there are two activation energy, EA. EA means activation, A for activation, E means energy, activation energy, that I have told you that this is the minimum energy which the reactant must have in order to cross this energy barrier to form product. Now for uncatalyzed reaction, see blue pen, uncatalyzed reaction, the barrier is this much, from this to this. So this is the activation energy for uncatalyzed reaction or reaction which takes place without catalyst. And this is marked with red ink. This is activation energy for catalyzed reaction. This is for catalyzed reaction, EA, red. So it is clear from this figure that for catalyzed reaction, the activation energy is smaller than for uncatalyzed reaction. So we say that catalyst lowers the activation energy. In this way, catalyst lowers the activation energy and increases the yield of product, so that more and more reactant cross the energy barrier, this energy barrier, and form product. Clear? Now next is types of catalysis. On the basis of phase of reactants and catalysts, catalysis is classified into two types. First is homogeneous catalysis and second is heterogeneous catalysis. In homogeneous catalysis, reactants and catalysts both are in same phase, whereas in heterogeneous catalysis, reactants and catalysts both are in different phase, or we can say both are not in same phase. Now let us discuss these types one by one. Let us start with homogeneous catalysis. Next slide. Homogeneous catalysis. Homogeneous catalysis, as we have discussed just now, that the phase of both reactants and catalysts is same. Now if both reactants and catalysts are in liquid phase, then examples are sucrose, hydrolysis of sucrose or cane sugar in presence of mineral acid. These are reactants and this is catalyst. So homogeneous catalyst, we are talking about homogeneous catalysis. So here reactants are liquids, both the reactants are liquid and the catalyst is also liquid, thereby forming single phase or same phase. In next example, that is hydrolysis of ethyl acetate. Here this reactant ethyl acetate is also in liquid state and water is also in liquid state and the catalyst is also in liquid state. It means this is also an example of homogeneous catalysis. Now when reactants and catalysts both are in gaseous phase, then examples are oxidation of sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide in presence of catalyst NO. It means reactants, these two reactants are in gaseous state and catalyst is also in gaseous state. So homogeneous catalysis. Another example, decomposition of acetaldehyde. Here acetaldehyde is in vapor form. Catalyst iodine is also in vapor form, thus constituting a single phase. This is also an example of homogeneous catalysis. Next, an important example is enzyme catalysis. Now, question arises, what are enzymes? So, what are enzymes? Enzymes are biomolecules which are made up of protein and possess higher molar mass. And these enzymes are specific in its action. It means particular enzyme can perform a particular function. For example, zymase conduct conversion of glucose into ethanol and carbon dioxide. Similarly, enzyme diastase convert starch plus water, that is hydrolysis of starch into maltose. Understood? It means that zymase is specific in its action, as well as diastase is also specific in its action. Both conduct a particular function. Next, mechanism of homogeneous catalysis. If we discuss how homogeneous catalysis takes place, so there are three steps. In first step, reactant A is reactant. In certain cases, it is also known as substrate. Reactant A combined with catalyst X to form an intermediate compound AX, where K1 is rate constant for forward reaction and K2 is rate constant for backward reaction. In step second, intermediate compound this AX combined with other molecule B to form AB plus X, where AB is the product and X is the catalyst, and K3 is rate constant for this reaction. Step third, the catalyst regenerated in step second as well as in step first. If we consider the backward reaction, there is regeneration of catalyst. So in step first, we obtain catalyst, as well as in step second, we obtain catalyst. So this catalyst undergoes reaction to form more and more product. As enzyme catalysis is an homogeneous catalysis, thus its mechanism is shown like this. Substrate S combined with enzyme substrate complex, which is an intermediate complex, ES complex. This EX complex in next step form product plus leaving the enzyme, which is acting as a catalyst as such. This is the mechanism of homogeneous catalysis. Now we will discuss heterogeneous catalysis. Heterogeneous catalysis, as discussed earlier, here reactants and catalysts both are in different phase. See, when reactant is gas and catalyst is solid. For example, this is reaction, oxidation of sulfur dioxide into trioxide, sulfur trioxide. Here reactants, sulfur dioxide and oxygen, these are in gaseous phase, but the catalyst platinum is in solid phase, thereby constituting two phase, one gas and one solid. Thus, this is an example of heterogeneous catalysis. Second example is hydrogenation of unsaturated organic compounds. Unsaturated organic compound here written means those organic compound which contains double bond or triple bond. Now here in this example, ethylene gas reacts with hydrogen. Both are gases, both reactants are gases in presence of nickel solid. This is catalyst. Here nickel is in solid form. Thus, this is an example of heterogeneous catalysis, and this reaction yields product ethane. Next example, in Haber's process of ammonia synthesis, nitrogen is gas, hydrogen is also gas. These two are reactants. These combine in presence of catalyst iron, which is solid. Again, two phase, one is solid, another is gas. Again, there is change in phase of catalyst and reactant. This is an example of heterogeneous catalysis. Next condition, when reactant is liquid and catalyst is solid. See, reactant in this example, reactant is aqueous solution of hydrogen peroxide. L shows this is L, liquid. The catalyst in this reaction is PT, platinum, which is in solid state. It means again here the phase of reactant H2O2 and catalyst PT is different, thereby constituting an example of heterogeneous catalysis. Next is when reactant is solid and catalyst is also solid. We know that single solid possesses single phase. For example, decomposition of potassium chlorate. Potassium chlorate, that is KClO3, which is solid, in presence of manganese oxide, MnO2, which is also a solid, form KCl plus O2. Here again, this is one solid, this is another solid. This constitute two phase. So this is also an example of heterogeneous catalysis. Next, mechanism of heterogeneous catalysis. Now, let us discuss the mechanism of heterogeneous catalysis. Here, the mechanism is based on phenomena of adsorption. Now, question arises, what is adsorption? Adsorption is a process of accumulation of foreign substances, mainly gases or liquids, on the surface of solid. So, this adsorption is an important topic of physical chemistry, and through adsorption heterogeneous catalysis takes place. There are two theories. One is Faraday theory and second is Langmuir and Hinshelwood theory. So according to Faraday, presence of free valencies on the surface of a catalyst. It means catalyst surface contain free valencies, and in these free valencies reactant get adsorbed and undergo a chemical reaction on the surface. See, this is a nickel catalyst, and this catalyst possesses this dash free valencies all around. In these free valencies, what happens? Reactant molecule come and get adsorbed, undergo chemical reaction. This is according to Faraday. Now moving to another theory, that is Langmuir and Hinshelwood. According to Langmuir and Hinshelwood, what happens for gaseous reaction taking place on the surface of solid catalyst? There are 5 steps. All these 5 steps are consecutive. It means all these steps takes place one after another. In first step, what happens? There is diffusion of reactants to the surface. In second step, these reactants get adsorbed on the surface. In third step, there is chemical reaction at the surface of the catalyst. In fourth step, desorption of products from the surface. In fifth step, diffusion of product from the surface. Here, desorption terms arise. What is desorption? Desorption is the process of removal of adsorbed substance. It means here the adsorbed substances are reactants, and after chemical reaction what happens? There is formation of product. So now there is desorption of products from the surface of the catalyst. So these are the 5 steps according to Langmuir and Hinshelwood. and these are consecutive, and in these steps, the step third, that is chemical reaction at the surface, is the rate determining step. It means the entire reaction depends on this step, that is step number 3. So this is the mechanism of heterogeneous catalysis. Moving to next slide, that is terminologies in catalysis. We will discuss certain terminology that are used in catalysis. Let us start with autocatalysis. In autocatalysis, one of the products formed in the reaction itself acts as catalyst. It means in the reaction, when product formation takes place, any one of the product act as a catalyst. The substance or product which act as catalyst is known as autocatalyst, and the phenomena is known as autocatalysis. For example, hydrolysis of an ester in presence of acid. Here the product is acid. This acid act as catalyst. So we say that this is an autocatalyzed reaction where the product carboxylic acid acts as a catalyst or increases the rate of reaction, increases the hydrolysis of ester. Next example, decomposition of arsine AsH3, in which arsenic form act as a catalyst. In this reaction, there is decomposition of arsine where arsenic is formed, and this arsenic act as a catalyst. So this is autocatalyst, and this phenomena is known as autocatalysis, as this is one of the product of this decomposition. Clear? Next is terminology is induced catalysis. In induced catalysis, what happens? See, one reaction influences the speed of other reaction, which is not possible under ordinary conditions. It means those reactions which do not take place under ordinary condition or under normal condition, these reactions are affected by other reactions. This phenomena is known as induced catalysis. For example, when air is passed through sodium sulfite solution, there is readily oxidation of sodium sulfite. But if air is passed through sodium arsenide solution, there is no oxidation, not oxidized in air. This sodium arsenide solution do not oxidize in air. But what happens when mixture of sodium sulfite solution plus sodium arsenide solution is passed through air? Oxidation of both takes place. It means sodium sulfite solution induced catalysis in sodium arsenide solution. Understood? In this way, one reaction influences the speed of other reaction which do not take place under ordinary condition. Next terminology used is catalytic promoters or activators. As the name indicates, promoters. Which promoters? Catalytic promoters. So catalytic promoters are those substances which are not catalysts. These are not catalysts, but they promotes or increases the activity of a catalyst. For example, in Haber's process for manufacture of ammonia, iron is used as catalyst. Here the promoter is molybdenum or aluminium oxide. By using molybdenum and aluminium oxide, the activity of catalyst increases. Next example, in isomerization of hydrocarbons by aluminium chloride catalyst, the promoter used are HCl or H2O. It means by using HCl or H2O, what happens? The catalyst AlCl3 become more active, due to which it increases the rate of reaction more rapidly. Mechanism of catalytic promoters. Mechanism discussed includes that there is loose bonding between catalyst and promoter, and this loose bonding show more activity than pure catalyst. This is the mechanism. Next, moving towards another terminology, catalytic poisons or anti-catalyst. Catalytic poison, as the name indicates, these are those substances which decreases or even destroy the efficiency of a catalyst. There are two types of poisoning, temporary poisoning and permanent poisoning. Temporary poisoning, as the name indicates, after removing the poison, the catalyst regains its activity in temporary poisoning. For example, in Haber process, iron acts as catalyst, but water vapor acts as a poison. Which poison? Temporary poison. After removing the water vapor, again the activity of iron catalyst can be regained. But in permanent poisoning, what happens? After the removal of poison, catalysts do not regain its activity. Even if we remove the poison, the catalyst do not again become active. For example, Haber's process, iron is catalyst and permanent poison is CO, carbon monoxide is a permanent poison. It means if we add CO into Haber's process, during Haber's process, then the iron catalyst stops working or its activity decreases. And if we consider the mechanism of catalytic poisons, then it has been said that active sites of catalyst occupied by poisons through adsorption. Means we know, we have studied just now that there are certain active sites on the surface of the catalyst which are occupied by reactants. But if we use poison, then what happens? These active sites of the catalyst were occupied by the poisons through the process of adsorption, and this poison blocked the active sites for the reactant molecule, due to which there will be no reaction or decrease in the rate of reaction. So this is the mechanism of how poisons acts, or how poison destroy or decrease the efficiency of a catalyst. Moving to next terminology, that is optimum temperature. Optimum temperature is the temperature at which the activity of a catalyst is maximum. For example, enzyme, we have discussed enzyme is a catalyst and cause homogeneous catalysis. So activity of enzyme is maximum between temperature 35 degrees Celsius to 37 degrees Celsius. Moving to next slide and the last slide, that is applications of catalysis. Now, applications of catalysis, as catalysis is an important phenomena and possesses several applications. Some of these applications are listed below. First, the process of catalysis is used in chemical industry like hydrogen industry, natural gas processing, petroleum refining. In petroleum refining, process of catalysis is used for alkylation and catalytic cracking. Now question arises, what is catalytic cracking? Catalytic cracking is a process in which long chain hydrocarbon breaks into small pieces. Next application is fuel cell. Fuel cell depends on catalyst for anodic and cathodic reaction. Next, catalysis play an important role in food processing, as hydrogenation of fats using nickel catalyst is used to produce margarine, and this margarine is a food which is similar to butter made from animal or vegetable fat. So one of the important application of catalysis is in food processing. Next is catalyst helps in decreasing the pollution. For example, there are catalytic converters which are present in automobiles, and these catalytic converters, what they do? These catalytic converter reduces the emission of harmful gases like carbon monoxide, due to which it helps in decreasing pollution. So these are some common applications of catalysis. Now, finally, in this way, I conclude the topic catalysis. Thank you so much. Thank you.